Hey, what's up, everybody? Chicago Gooner here, bringing another Arsenal talk. In this Arsenal talk, I'll be talking about the Burnley game and then also a little bit about the return leg from Anderlecht in the Champions League for Tuesday. But onto the Burnley game, I mean, what can you really say? I mean, Alexis Sanchez, I mean, what a joy to watch. Uh, from the opening whistle to the ending, I mean, it was just to to watch that guy play. It's so much fun to watch him play. Uh, from his work rate to just everything that he does on the pitch. Um, to have him wearing an Arsenal shirt. We haven't really, seen a player like this at Arsenal since maybe. I mean, you can even make a case that we haven't really seen a player like this since like the Invincible days, possibly. Um, who's been like this explosive, this dynamic. Um, just everything he does is just amazing. The way he can just, a single player that can just carry a team. I mean, you kind of saw it with Luis Suarez, the biter, last year with Liverpool, of how he just like carried Liverpool throughout that season. I know you can make a case for Daniel Sturridge and everything like that, but I mean, he's having kind of like one of those years. I mean, he has 10 goals and 16 appearances right now, which is just amazing. But it's just so much fun to just watch him play, and I hope his teammates are just taking notice. Like I said in my last episode, I hope these guys are taking notice and looking at his work rate. I know he was in the news earlier in the week saying that he wasn't happy at Arsenal. It was a Chilean newspaper. Um, a lot of people are kind of getting misinformation from. Um, they think it's from the UK papers, but it was off of a Chilean newspaper saying that he wasn't happy at Arsenal and he wasn't happy with players' work rates, especially with Mesut Ozil. But I can't see that being somewhat true. I know that the article was kind of shot down a little bit, like during the week, and it was Arsene Wenger said it was nonsense. Um, but if he did say like he's not happy with some of the guys' work rates, good. I hope he's I wouldn't mind him saying that. Um, to get some of the guys, in line and, saying, what, the season has started. The season has been going on for 2.5 months now. It's time for people to start stepping up, other than myself. Um, so if he says something like that, maybe, it's good. But I kind of hope that he kind of keeps that behind closed doors. But um, just by the way he celebrates, way he celebrates with his teammates and everything like that. I just can't see. It might have been a mistranslation by the UK papers of what he really said, because it was in the Chilean newspaper, so everything was in his native language, not in English language or anything like that. So maybe it was just a kind of like lost in translation type thing. Um, but if he is saying that like behind closed doors or something to his teammates, you got to start picking it up good. Because that's like something that Arsenal does lack, is that leader. And he's trying to be that leader, especially on the pitch, where he's trying to urge his teammates to press the ball and try to get the ball back. Um, but on today's the team sheet was, again, it was wrong. Um, the attacking players were fine, but once you got to that Arteta and Flamini thing, I mean, I can see if you're playing a defensive game maybe, and you're basically kind of like parking the bus, so to speak. But you're playing Burnley, who is basically last in the table currently. Them in QPR is battling out for the worst team in the Premier League as far as points go. And you know that Burnley's going to play all 11 behind the ball no matter what, and try to counterattack whenever they can possibly do that. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to put Flamini and Arteta on the pitch at the same time. It just doesn't make any type of sense to me whatsoever. Because they don't offer anything. They don't offer anything in the attack. None of them moves forward like Jack Wilshere or Aaron Ramsey or Santi or whoever's playing that CM role. None of them moved forward. None of them helped in the attack, even today. You saw it last week in the Sunderland game, and you saw it this week again, where they don't provide anything. To try to provide cover for a team who's just literally going to park the bus for all 90 minutes, regardless if they're even 1-0 down, because they just don't have the quality to keep possession whatsoever. The possession game today was, even at halftime, Arsenal had like 73% possession. Throughout the entire game, they had 68% possession. Burnley had 32% possession, which I would even kind of question that because I don't know when they had 32% of the ball throughout the entire match, to be honest with you. I think that's. I mean, you can probably make a case that Arsenal had like 75% possession the entire game because it was all Arsenal. It was very unfortunate. We got unlucky a few times in that first half. Alexis Sanchez had a couple. He had one shot on target that came pretty close. He got unlucky, and then there was one where he tried to curl the ball around, and it was just inches away from going in, or at least hitting the post as well. Had a few chances. Santi had like another sitter. He had a couple, shots today that were just. I made a comment that he can have an open goal and he still wouldn't score, and he had an open goal today and he couldn't score. The guy, credit to the Burnley player. I don't know who it was, but he just kind of came out of nowhere and blocked Sandy's shot. But the lack of, there was no urgency right there. It was just so lazy. Sandy's kind of shot on goal to even try to get it into the goal. I mean, it was kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. But the first half, I thought we were kind of unlucky in some parts. But again, having that Flamini-Arteta partnership, it just does not work, and it hurts us more than it helps us, especially against these teams, where you want to nick that first goal to kind of draw them out a little bit and try to get them to, maybe press the ball a little bit more to try to get them out of position, try to get them unorganized. To credit to Burnley, they were well organized throughout the game, especially in the first about like 60 minutes. Have to give credit to Heaton, their goalkeeper. If it wasn't for him, the scoreline could have been like 7-8-0 easily. He made some just like worldly saves today. Honestly, you can almost make a uh, you can almost make a case that he was almost like the man of the match. Because if it wasn't for him, it could have been a scoreline of 7-0, 8-0 easily today. Because he made just save after save, made a couple saves, 3 or 4 saves in the first half, and then once the subs started coming on, when Arsenal just looked absolutely relentless for the last about 30 minutes of the game. He was still making save after save after save, and it was just like, oh my God, what do we have to do to get a goal here? And of course, some of the Burnley players, I mean, they were giving up their bodies throughout the game to try to make blocks, to throw their body in front of the ball, to if there was any type of shot possibly on goal. So kind of give them credit for that. But in all, I mean, we had 32 shots total, 13 on target. It was nice to see the guys like taking shots even outside the box. Even though Heaton was making worldly saves, I mean, they were still trying to take shots outside the box, which is good to see. We need to start doing more of that, in my opinion. We had 86% passing accuracy, which was nice. Especially when you have that much possession, you still have those type of passing numbers. It's pretty good when you're trying to break down a team that's really just compact and well organized. We had 18 corners, which, I mean, other than the Chambers goal, those really just didn't. They're still having issues with the set pieces, obviously. but even at halftime, you were kind of screaming as an Arsenal fan. At least I was, to either take either Flamini or Arteta out at halftime and put Aaron Ramsey on. At least the Aaron Ramsey of last season, or even to even the start the season, because he started the season well. Um, that game was just screaming for him, because in that CM role, he just makes those unmarked runs. He makes those. He sells out. He sells out to the back post, and he just sells out completely to. That's what made him so great last year. That he would sell out and just make runs, and it was just screaming for him to get into the game. Yeah, he did finally get in. Let's see when he got in. I think it was around like the 65th minute or so. Come on, what the fuck here? 63rd minute is when Aaron Ramsey came on, and that's when the game kind of really changed. Um, because Aaron Ramsey, even though he had one shot on target that again Heaton made a fucking worldly save, that any other keeper that wasn't on his game that would have went in. But the game really changed when Ramsey came on. Yeah, he gave the ball away a couple times here and there, but he just provided that extra man in the box, that extra guy that was going to make runs, and it confused Burnley. That's when things started opening up for Arsenal, and that's when you saw more space and lanes to run into for players to run into. That's when you really saw things change for Arsenal all in all. Um, and again, Alexis Sanchez's first goal was in the 70th minute, so 7 minutes after Ramsey came on, we scored. Uh, you know, Chambers, scored two minutes later. In that time between the 63rd minute and to the end of the game, I mean, we were absolutely relentless, especially when Theo came on, which was great to see. I thought, being 2-0, that Theo might come on for at least 5 minutes or so. It would be great to see him come in for a home game. I think that was ideal to get Theo back into the side and even as a sub for 5 minutes. But Arsene pulled the trigger and brought him in the 80th minute. Lucas Podolski in the 80th minute. Again, when you're kind of having trouble breaking down a team, sometimes you need fresh legs out there. Again, I think the substitutions were way too late. I thought Ramsey should have came on in the. I thought Ramsey should have basically, started the game. If anything, he should have came in at halftime, in the second half, just to provide something different. Because we were having, goals weren't just going in. We only had, Welbeck and Sanchez and Santi and Oxley Chamberlain. Basically, that was our only attackers. Gibbs, of course, helped out, and of course Chambers did as well. But when you're looking at, the people who were, paid to score the goals and take shots on target and stuff like that, and, you're just screaming for something different at halftime. But after Ramsey did come in, it just like changed the whole dynamic, the tempo of the game, everything. Especially when Walcott and Podolski came on. I mean, from that time, from the 63rd minute on, it was just relentless. And I made a tweet. I was like, "This is the Arsenal that I miss. This is the Arsenal I want to see every single game," because they were just absolutely relentless. I mean, it was the 91st minute, and Alexis Sanchez was still running after a ball, and they were still trying to score another goal, especially in injury time, which was great to see. We need that killer instinct. We need that type of. We don't care if we're up 3 goals or 4 goals. We're trying to get another one. We need that killer instinct at Arsenal. Theo Walcott's return, of course. He's my favorite player, but you could see a little flashes here and there of what we've been missing with him. He made a couple little dink crosses inside the box that almost connected, and we missed that out of our winners. Oxley Chamberlain, while he has a ton of potential, he has a ton of room for improvement. I have no doubt, 3-4 years from now, he'll be one of the better winners in the Premier League. But when you're comparing, winners that can cross the ball, who kind of specialize at as well. We definitely been missing that from Theo Walcott because he's such a great crosser of the ball, in my opinion. Um, and to kind of go on Colin Chambers, I know I might get ridiculed or criticized for saying something like this, but I love Colin Chambers as a defender. I don't like him as much as a attacker. He's great on the ball. He's great with like short passes, but his crossing needs to improve greatly if he's going to continue to be a right back and even be the backup right back. Um, Obviously, his perverted position, into the future is going to be center half, but I wish his crossing would be a lot better than it is right now because I know he made a cross that got the first goal of the game with Alexis Sanchez's header. Of course, one of the smallest guys on the field gets a header, which is kind of funny, but I wish his crossing was just a little bit better than it is right now because we need to utilize Danny Welbeck and his athletic ability and his ability to, his aerial game. Is one of the things that Manchester United always talked about. That he's great in the air, and we need to start utilizing that a lot more, and we just haven't because the crossing just hasn't been up to par this season so far. Hopefully, it'll get better as the season goes on. I know with Theo Walcott coming back into the side and getting healthy again, that it'll get better, I think. And of course, Debuchy is due back, I think, after sometime in December. Also, some kind of good news even before I keep on going on here, but Olivier Giroud is due back supposedly after this next international break, which is in, let's see, it'll be the end of November, the ending or middle ending in November that Arsene Wenger said he will be back in training, which is kind of surprising. They say he's 3 weeks ahead of schedule, which is crazy to me because you just never hear that from Arsenal. You never hear that from a player from Arsenal. Usually they're out 3 weeks after their due date's back. So that's good news because we need to start rotating guys, especially with Welbeck. I think he didn't have the greatest game today. I know Sanchez kind of yelled at him a couple times because he wanted Danny Welbeck to make a couple different runs that he just didn't make. He could have been a lot better today, but the service just wasn't it wasn't that great. Especially with crossing and trying to use his aerial game and stuff like that. It wasn't his best game, but you got to think that maybe Welbeck is maybe wearing down a little bit. He's not really used to playing this many games in his career because usually at Manchester United he was playing 1 or 2 games and then they would sit him out for 2 or 3 games. This is probably like the first time in his career really that he's playing so many games in a row. I think ever since the transfer window closed, he basically played every single game so far for club and country, I believe, which includes the Premier League, Champions League, and then even the international games that he's been playing. So that's a lot of games. That's a lot of minutes being logged, and hopefully hopefully when Giroud comes back, they can find a nice rotation between the two. Because I still prefer Welbeck, unfortunately. I mean, I love Giroud and I love what he does. I love his work rate and everything like that. But I just love Welbeck's pace, and having that dream of an Aaron Ramsey and then a Mesut Ozil and having Sanchez and Walcott on the wings and then Welbeck up top. I mean, that's just like pace, skill. That's just like goals for days. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to, when Mesut Ozil comes back. Today's game too, you can make a case that it was screaming for Mesut Ozil. We just didn't have that, that final pass into the box. We didn't have that, the ability to that playmaker on the pitch other than Alexis Sanchez. The game was just screaming for a guy like Mesut Ozil to kind of like take the game over and make that final pass and to pick out, a running Sanchez or a Welbeck or a Oxlade-Chamberlain. So he was kind of greatly missed because, Santi, I don't know what to say, honestly. Against Sunderland, he had like 2 or 3 sitters. He had 2 sitters right in front of goal. This game, he had at least 2 sitters as well. I mean, he had an open goal and he couldn't even. I mean, the it was so lazy. That shot was so lazy. I was just, I was just kind of like, fuck this guy almost. I was just, it really pissed me off of how lazy that finish was. Um, when he should have just kicked it as hard as he could and just slammed it into the back of the net and just vented all of his frustrations out of the last, 3, 4 games that, he just can't score. Even in an open goal, when, you know, the goalkeeper is completely out of position. He's not even in the goalie box pretty much, and he still can't finish it out. And I just don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I mean, once Ozil, even Jack comes back. Jack has a little bit of a knee injury. I guess he got kicked in the knee. I guess Wenger said he'll be back for the Swansea City game, but maybe Santi needs a week or two off or something to reboot. Or I've been saying that for almost the whole season so far. But yeah, it was very frustrating to watch him be so lazy on that finish. When someone's that lazy, I'm sorry, but you just got to take them off the pitch. Because if there's no sense of urgency, there's no fight, there's just no determination, then what's the point of him being on the pitch, to be honest with you? The back line, Monreal's been playing well. I know I've been kind of, criticizing him a little bit, but I'll give him credit where credit is due. He's been playing very well over the last couple games, the Sunderland game, and then now this game against Burnley. I know it's not the greatest talent in the world, but him and Mertesacker, he's kind of playing that Koscielny role where Mertesacker can play a little bit higher up, and Monreal can cover for him. And then Gibbs, I was kind of scared today. I was just wishing that, again, we're playing Burnley, bottom of the table club. Give Gibbs another time off. Because he had a little bit of a hip injury or something, or a back injury from the Sunderland game that caused him to be taken out. I just wish that Arsenal would just kind of say, okay, we'll just put Bellerin into the side, make Chambers the other center half, and then make Monreal the left back, just to give Gibbs another game off or a day off, to get him ready for the Anderlecht game instead. But he made it through. There seemed to be no problems with him. It seemed like Monreal kind of almost turned his ankle near the end of the game there. I think it was around like the 85th minute or something like that. He was kind of hunched over and he was grabbing his ankle. So I don't know if he kind of turned it a little bit. It seemed like nothing really went on. It just seemed like it was like self-inflicted, I think. Maybe just stepped wrong and maybe hit a divot or something like that in the pitch that caused that. But that might be something to look out for going into the Anderlecht game and any type of injuries from this game. But going into that Anderlecht game, you'll probably see the same exact side. Hopefully Arteta or Flamini. Hopefully it's Arteta that sits out. Hopefully that Ramsey starts the game. Of course, it's going to be the same back line. Hopefully it's going to be Ramsey and Flamini. Because again, Jack Wilshere is out until Swansea. Again, you'll probably see the same kind of starting front line. I almost wish that they would sub out, because Santi for even Thomas Rosicky or even Lucas Podolski. I mean, he had a great game coming in as a sub. I mean, he could have had a hat trick in like 8 minutes. That shot that he, the volleys he had was just pure class. To have that much composure and focus on those volleys was, and that one that went off the post. I mean, he just slammed the living shit out of that thing, and it was, it was just unlucky. He was just unlucky the entire time he was out there. But like I said, he could have had a hat trick within about like 8 minutes. Even Theo had a shot on goal too that Heaton made a great save, even though it was basically directly at him. The pace on the ball, the power behind that shot was it's not an easy save for a goalkeeper, especially when it's that close too, because you just don't know which way he's going to be going with the ball. But it would be nice to see Lucas Podolski. It would be nice to see, because Anderlecht's going to park the bus again. And they're going to try to do what they did to us last time. They're going to try to nick a goal and a counterattack. Um, I would almost rather see a like a 4-4-2 or like a 4-4-1-1. It seems like we've almost been playing like that. Um, I've been trying to figure out if we're playing a 4-2-3-1 or if we've been playing a 4-4-1-1 because Sanchez is playing behind Welbeck pretty much the entire game. Of course, in the 4-4-1-1 and even the 4-2-3-1, I mean, it's almost kind of like the same exact thing, but Sanchez just has that, he has that freedom to just roam around and go anywhere he wants to, which is nice to see because it's hard to mark a guy like that, especially with that much talent. But I would almost like to see a 4-4-2 going into that Anderlecht game because when a team parks a bus, you need as many guys in the box as possible, especially when you have heavy possession. It just causes confusion between the center halves and the back line of who's marking who and you know who's running outside the box, who's running inside the box, and I'd almost rather see that like either a Welbeck and Podolski, partnership up top, and having Alexis Sanchez on one of the wings and having Ox on the other wing. I almost rather see that against Anderlecht because I think we can break them down a lot easier going into this game rather than playing with only one striker. Of course, again, we haven't played, last two games we haven't played that 4-1-4-1 crap that we've been seeing throughout most of the season. Of course, if we did play in more of a 4-2-3-1, this is the first game um, this season that we played. Well, no, we haven't. Never mind about that one. But yeah, against Anderlecht, I mean, all guns blazing pretty much. We need to play exactly like we did the last 30 minutes of this game against Burnley because it was just relentless. They just kept on going after it throughout. Those last 30 minutes. I'm not sitting here and saying they didn't go after it for the first 60, 63 minutes, which they did. But having that Arteta-Flamini partnership, it just doesn't work because no one goes forward out of those two players, and it leaves everybody else pretty much useless almost because it makes a team that parks the bus. It's easier for them to put two guys on Alexis Sanchez, put two guys on Welbeck, put two guys on Oxlade-Chamberlain, two guys on Santi. I mean, when you only have four attackers going forward, I mean, it kind of sucks. Um, so I'd almost rather see that to where we play like a 4-4-2 or even still like the 4-2-3-1 because Sanchez is really giving Welbeck a ton of support. And of course, the defense has been it's been getting better to where it's not only Welbeck and Sanchez really pressing the ball. It got a lot better today, especially Ox was pressing, Santi was pressing from time to time. I'd like to see more out of him, especially defensively. Obviously, that's probably beating a dead horse, but you know when you're looking at a guy like Sanchez and you're looking at his work rate and in him pressing the ball as much and trying to get the ball back, everybody else needs to start playing like that. Um, because if we did start playing like that, I mean, we would probably be unbeatable, especially with Theo coming back on the side. Lucas Podolski, basically like super sub. Um, the way he's been playing, once Aaron Ramsey gets back up to speed, like I said, his shot should have went in. If Heaton wasn't making worldly saves, that shot should have went in. It was a great strike. It had perfect curve on it. It was outside of the foot shot. So hopefully, little by little, Aaron Ramsey is coming back up to form because we definitely need him. We definitely need that extra goal scorer. We definitely need someone else to take that pressure off Alexis Sanchez and make the opposing team worry about another player other than Alexis Sanchez or Welbeck. It's going to be great seeing Theo back out there because he just adds another threat. Once Aaron Ramsey gets back up to speed, that's just another threat. Once Mesut Ozil comes back up into the side, that's just another threat. It's just going to be wide open when all those guys get healthy. It's just going to be fun to watch. But we need to play again against Anderlecht. We need to play relentless. We need to play like we're 1-0 down, honestly, and just go after it. Um, so, I mean, other than that, it was a great game. 3 points. I mean, it's it makes the rest of the weekend go by a lot smoother. It's, you're always happy. It's like you don't care about anything else. You're just happy that Arsenal won and you got 3 points. And currently right now we're fourth in the table. I think let's see what is it here? Because I think we are fourth on goal differential alone. Um, what is this shit? Yeah, I guess it's like another kind of thing today that Dortmund is in a relegation battle now. They're in a relegation zone in the Bundesliga, which is kind of crazy to think that a team like that and a team that we just got our asses handed to is currently in the relegation zone. Wow. I don't know. I know it's Bayern Munich that they played it today, but it's crazy to see. But yeah, Chelsea of course won today. They're 9 points ahead, 9 points clear. Southampton won again today. That shot by Maynard. Holy shit! If you haven't seen that, it was like a 40-yard bomb. That the goalkeeper reaction afterwards was just priceless, to be honest with you. Of course, Manchester City plays tomorrow. I know this is, I know you want probably a draw between Manchester City and Manchester United, but honestly, I'd rather just see Manchester City beat the shit out of Manchester United and just let those fuckers, drown in their sorrow. Especially Liverpool losing today. That was fucking beautiful. But yeah, again, Arsenal's fourth with 17 points, currently tied with Manchester City, but Manchester City's got two more goals than us on goal differential with 9. We have 7. West Ham obviously drew today. They're on 5 goal differential, so we are currently fourth, and we will hold that spot through the weekend because no one else can really catch us and take us out of that fourth spot. So from this point forward, we got to think 3 points from here on out, no matter what. Especially when we go up against Manchester United and Liverpool, because those are basically our only two really difficult games when you really look at it. I know Southampton's playing like out of their fucking mind, but we can beat a team like that when we have all of our guys healthy and ready to go. Top 4 is a must. Obviously, we need to get in that top 3. Fuck the top 4. We need to stay in the top 3 so we don't have to worry about extra games going into next season and playing in that playoff once again, because if we don't have those 2 extra games, sometimes it can be a positive, sometimes it can be a negative. Obviously this year it's a little more of a negative, because playing those 2 extra games, you saw a guy like Mesut Ozil go down, Aaron Ramsey go down, a lot of guys going down that played in those games. So if we can just cut 2 games out of it and just go for that top 3, hopefully we'll get top 3. That's what I'm hoping for. So, but yeah, that'll be it. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Of course, it's always a good weekend when Arsenal wins, and see you after the Anderlecht game, possibly. Later.